rather to rule out underground nuclear tests. President Donald Trump has reaffirmed on Friday that the U.S. would resume nuclear testing, but he did not answer directly when asked whether they would include underground nuclear tests that were common during the Cold War. He said, and I quote, "You'll find out very soon, but we are going to do some testing," Trump told reporters about Air Force One as he flew to Palm Beach, Florida, when asked about underground nuclear tests. So that's the big statement which has come from the side of Donald Trump. Donald Trump basically declined to rule out underground nuclear tests, and that's very significant. Obviously, the world watching these developments very closely. Srinjoy joining us live on the broadcast. Srinjoy, how are we to understand or interpret this? Trump basically now declining to rule out the underground nuclear tests.
There are different ways of testing. The worst possible way for the Earth is atmospheric testing. Or if you're testing, as did happen in the 1950s and 60s, you take over a Pacific island, a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific, and you test there. What it does is, apart from that mushroom cloud, it destroys the whole island and all the fauna and flora anywhere near it. That's, of course, the worst way. Then there is underground testing, which has happened many times. In fact, even in 1998, India tested in that manner. But is it something Donald Trump wants to do? We don't know as yet. The third way of doing it is actually largely through computers and in the lab. And that gives you more than 95% success rate. Now, if that is done, it won't hurt anybody. It will be of it will have no negative consequences, environmental or otherwise. But what the president actually wants to do is really not clear. But he hasn't ruled out anything. So whether it will be an underground test, whether it will be a lab test, whether it's something else that he's looking at, we'll have to wait and see what he really wants to do.
All right, Srinjoy, thank you for joining us with all these details. Significant development there. When asked, Trump basically declining to rule out underground nuclear tests. President Donald Trump reaffirming on Friday, remember, that the U.S. would be resuming nuclear testing, but he did not answer directly when he was asked that if that would include underground nuclear tests that were common during the Cold War era.